Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 112 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit and crochet, and get into all kinds of other crafting shenanigans. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. It is Saturday, May the 21st, 2022, and it's a scorcher out there today. I think it's in the low 90s. Not a fan of the heat. I honestly prefer the cold. But we have a hot day here today. I have the ceiling fan on high. I have one of those little fans on my, blowing on me on my desk. And you can probably just see my cheeks. Motorcycles. My cheeks are all flushed. Anyway. 'Tis the season to start complaining about the heat. The hubby loves the heat. I hate the heat. I'm built for the cold weather, not the heat. But we still have done some knitting this week. So I have made progress on a little bit on one of my whips, a goodly amount on a second whip, and I've started another one. The next round of Sock Madness has begun, and I'm frantically knitting on that. So without any further ado, let's take a look at what I've been working on this past week. So first off, it's just an old tote bag that a friend of mine gave me several years ago. Beautiful horses on it. I just love this bag. And this is my Granny Stripes blanket, and this is the one that I am making for a friend of mine, and I talked about it before. And I'm using two yarns on it. I'm using Lion Brand wool, Lion Brand wool for felting. And I'm also using a worsted weight Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Bear. It's just some yarn I had left over from when I knit myself the row cardigan. So that's the yarn I'm using for this. And I only added a few rows to this. Seriously, like 3 rows. 3 or 4. I did the last bit of the white here, and I've started doing one of the variegated yarns. But it's coming along nicely. It's getting longer. And I plan on trying to get it to a decent size. What I'm using I have 3 skeins of the Lion Brand wool, and what I'm going to do is I want to use as much of that as I possibly can, and I want to divide it up with the white or the bear yarn so that it'll make it a little bit larger a blanket, because with only using the variegated there just won't be enough. So I did get a little bit done on that this week, but in the grand scheme of things, very little. And if I didn't mention, that's the Granny Stripes blanket by Lucy of Attic 24. And I started this back in April. I've done 2 of them with this yarn that was given to me by a friend of mine that I used to work with. And what I want to do is, it was yarn that her mom, or that she had that belonged to her mom. Her mom has passed away several years ago now, and my friend gave me the yarn because she knew I knit and crocheted. She does not, and so she thought I'd be able to use the yarn for something. So I wanted to make a couple blankets for her and her daughter using the yarn that belonged to her mom and the grandmother, and give it back to them. So that's the plan. One blanket is finished. I showed you that, I believe, last week before. And this one is probably getting close to 60% done. I do plan on buckling down and getting a lot more done on it in the near future, but it is something that I have to work on when I'm sitting at my desk watching things on the computer, so that I can just have the weight of all the wool sitting on the tabletop and not on me, because there's no way I am not in 90-degree weather. I will not be putting a big heavy wool blanket on my lap. Not a chance. I get hot and flustered too easily as is. I don't need help. Just drinking ice water. And the other work in progress that I put a fair bit of time into this earlier in the week. I finished the last round 4 of Sock Madness. I finished on Friday, and I had done, I think, a couple rows on my Empress top. I'd done a couple rows before I filmed last week. I don't remember if I showed you my progress last week. It was such a tiny amount that it probably wasn't worth showing you anyway. So this is the Empress top by Sari Nordlund, and I have made a goodly amount of progress on this from where the marker is here upwards. So I've about doubled what I had before. So I'm happy with that progress. I worked on it most of my spare time on Sunday, Monday, and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So that's about 4 days worth of work. But I'm making good progress on it. I just dropped the skein of yarn I want to show you. So the yarn is Wool-like by Loops and Thread. Is that what it's? Yeah, Loops and Threads. Wool-like. And it's an acrylic blend, acrylic nylon. I can't read the details on here. Put the glasses on so I can see. Where is the... "85% acrylic, 15% nylon." No wonder I couldn't read it. It's written in white on this light tan color, so it really blends in nicely. You can't, or at least I couldn't read it very well. So that's the progress I've made on that. So again, I've about doubled what I had. In the pattern you do, I think it's like a lace repeat of 40 or 50 rounds of lace, and then you repeat like something like 15 to the 40 or 50 a second time. So I'm midway through the second repeat on the lace portion on here, so it's coming along nicely. And as I've mentioned probably in an earlier video, the pattern calls for baubles, and I wasn't excited about using the baubles, so I opted for using beads instead. And I'm not sure if they're really showing up very well quite yet. They're tucked in here. I'm hoping they will show up a little bit more once it's blocked. And they might show up a little bit better here. Not sure if that's visible for you, but we'll see once it's blocked how it looks. So once I get that last part of the lace repeats done, then it's just straight stockingette up until where the sleeves, you divide for the sleeves, then you finish up the front and back, undo the sleeves, and the rest of it is plain stockingette. So it's going to be nice and mindless once I finish that lace portion. So I'm excited to get more work done on that. It is taking me quite a while to work on it. And I'm enjoying the feel of the fabric. I don't know what it's going to feel like once I'm wearing it with the acrylic nylon blend. We shall see. But I'm excited about it so far. I'm enjoying it. I'm really getting into the rhythm, or I was earlier in the week getting into the rhythm of doing the lace on this. So I'm really enjoying that. So once the next round of Sock Madness is done, I plan on getting back in full swing on both the Empress top and hopefully finishing the granny stripe blanket for my friend and her daughter. So the other thing that I've started working on this week is Sock Madness 16 round 5. So I'm thrilled to bits that I've made it up to round 5 in the competition this year. I'm very excited for that. It's getting tougher and tougher each round to get through. In round 5, the fastest 8 people on each team are the ones that will advance. So it's getting to be a smaller and smaller group that move forward each round of the competition. So far, no one on my team has crossed the line. Everyone who's still in the competition on my team are still, as far as I know, that are still frantically knitting. There's not an awful lot of conversation going on in the discussion threads, or at least our group's discussion thread right now. So that leads me to believe that probably everyone in our group that is, or my particular team that's still competing, are busy knitting and not taking the time to really go through and post in the discussion thread. So who knows whether I'll make it or not. So anyway, I'll stop yakking about it and I will show you what I have so far. I'm making decent progress, but the more challenging part of this pattern is yet to come. So the pattern is called Unbearably Adorable, and it's a pattern by Renee Strouts. And the pattern is really cute. I really like the look of the pattern. I will show you a picture up here of what the socks will look like when they're done. Only because it's hard to describe what they're going to look like, and mine are not far enough along to show you the really fun detail on them. But right now, this is what I have. Look at the little hearts. They're so cute. So they're toe up, as you can see. We have to include, so this yellow is a counting thread. So every 5 rounds we had to flip the counting thread back and forth because we had to have the foot a certain length before we started the heel. And so that's what the yellow is here. Then the heart, it's such a cute little heart. The heart is done with cable stitches around the outside, and then the contrast color is embroidered in place. So I have both the little hearts are done, and there is a distinct left and right foot, so that when you wear them you'll see the heart on opposite sides of the foot. And now I'm on to working on the heel. I don't know if you call it a heel flap. This is a type of heel I have never done before. It is a keel heel, and it has what we would normally see as from what I understand, what we would usually see as a slip stitch heel flap is actually the bottom of the heel. And then the heel turn comes next here, and then you will pick up the gusset stitches and start working in the round again, so the gusset will come along here. Kind of hard to explain. Hopefully you will be able to visualize it a little better in the picture of a picture of the designer's socks along here. So I have I keep calling it a heel flap. I have the first part finished on the left and a little over half done on the right sock. So once I've got both the heel flap, so I keep calling it the heel flap because I don't know if it's a heel flap. Once I have this part done, I will do the heel turn on both and then start doing pick up the gusset stitches and then do the gusset decreasing as we go up the ankle. Once you get past the heel, it uses another technique that I've never done before. This is one of the things I love the most about Sock Madness, is that we are forced to try all kinds of different techniques and different things that we've never done before. I've never made a little heart like this onto a sock that's been embroidered before. I've done oodles of cables, all of that stuff, but never quite like that. I've never done a keel heel before, so that's another new technique. The increases on the toe were kind of a spiral type increase, and there was a right leaning and a left leaning way of doing them. So that was a little bit different. But for the leg of the sock, it is using what they call stacked stitches. And I have not got that far yet. I have not watched the videos about it or watched any videos about the type of stitch, just because I don't want to spook myself before I even get there. I'm just going to simply wait until I'm ready to do that part of the sock, and then I will watch the videos and go for it. I'll probably put in a lifeline in each sock before I start them in case I mess it up, and then I can simply pull back to the lifeline and try again. We shall see. But I still have the gusset decreasing. I have to finish the heels and the gusset decreasing before I even get to the stacked stitches. And it uses two colors. It uses the main color, which is a yarn I dyed myself. And this is one of several episodes back. Before Sock Madness started, I dyed a handful of yarns that I was hoping I would be able to use during Sock Madness. This is the last of the several that I dyed. I've used up the green one I dyed, and is there a bluish one? There's a green one, a bluish one. Is there a yellow one? I dyed several, and I've been able to use each of them so far. So this one, I'm using the blue. And then for the contrast color is this pinkish red color. And I have two little balls of that left over from another project. Again, this is yarn I've dyed. The red is yarn I've dyed myself also. So when we do the stacked stitches, you can see that there's going to be, part of it is going to be in the main color, and then there's going to be like a little, almost like a heart-shaped design, almost like a ruffle. It almost looks like a ruffle that's going to be on there, and it'll be there's one or two rows done in the contrast color, and then back to the main color for doing each layer of these stacked stitches. And I think we have to do five parts of the stack stitch technique. And then there's the cuff done in the main color with the end of the cuff, and the bind off is done in the contrast color as well. So I'm hoping to have them done for when I podcast next week. We shall see. All depends on how long it takes me to get the hang of doing these stacked stitches. I have no idea how long they'll take. I have no idea if they're easy to do, if they're difficult to do, or if they're just tedious. or they might just be a cakewalk. I don't know. I've never done them before, so we shall see. And I'm also very curious to see when the first person on my team gets across the finish line for round 5. And I'm also very curious to see if I am going to be quick enough to be in the top 8 and make it to the finish line. Stay tuned. Hopefully by next week I will be able to answer that for you. And next week I'm not sure if I will be able to podcast on as I normally do. I'm not sure if I'll be able to videotape on Saturday next week. We have some things we need to get done in the morning. Our farmers market down the block begins next Saturday. So the hubby's already itching. He's already planning on things he wants to, some of the regulars that are there each year, he's already planning on, okay, we have to go and have breakfast at this particular booth, and I want to get this at this one. So we're already planning out that to be done. Then friends of ours, somebody that my husband works with, they are having a barbecue get together at their house on Saturday afternoon. And that's about an hour to an hour and a half drive from here each way. So we have that to go to. I don't think we're supposed to get there till closer to 3. So I might have some time to film between the farmers market and when we have to leave for our friend's party. I don't know. I might film on Friday afternoon, depending if I have free time on Friday or not, or I might film on Sunday afternoon. So if you don't see a video from me next week on Saturday as usual, that's why. Who knows, I might be able to manage to get it done before we head off to the barbecue. We shall see. But otherwise, not much else is new around here. It's been a nice, quiet week. I haven't had any school stuff to do. I've just laid low and took it easy and did a lot of knitting. And I enjoyed that. So next week I need to get some more work done on some research stuff. So I will be switching gears and doing more of that. I'm trying to get a Zoom meeting set up with one of my colleagues so we can sit down and chat about some research that we want to work on together. We need to meet and talk about that. We had done some work on that last summer, a little bit in the fall, and then the spring got way too busy for both of us, so we just put it on the back burner for several months. So we need to revisit that and get back to working on that. But otherwise, the upcoming week is going to be spent focusing on finishing my unbearably adorable socks and getting those done hopefully in time to make it into round 6. I was looking through my records and I actually did make it to round 6 once before. Didn't make it to round 7, which is the final, but I have made it to round 6 once. Was eliminated in that round. 2 or 3 times I've made it to round 5 before. I've made it to round 4, or was eliminated in round 4 2 or 3 times. I was eliminated in round 2 once, and 2 years I didn't even qualify. I didn't even get the qualifying round pair of socks done in the 2-week window to even compete. So be it. Either way, so this is one of the longest stints I've had where I'm still fully in the competition. And if I make it to round 6, crossing my fingers, but if I don't, I'm fine with that. If I don't make it to round 6, that's fine. If I do, I think the odds of me getting into round 7 are incredibly slim. In round 6, only the first person finished the round 6 socks advance to the final. So unless I'm the fastest one on my team, which last round I was the last one to qualify or to make it across the finish line. I was number 16 for the last socks. So I'm always in the bottom half to 2/3 of my teammates to finish. So we shall see what happens. Come back in a week and see if I made it through or not. But otherwise, I'm gonna quit rambling because that's all I'm doing at this point. I'm just rambling on. So I'll let you go. Take care, and I will see you guys again in a week. Bye.